The invasion of women's sports by biological men has gotten insane. People are tired of transgender athletes destroying women's sports, whether it's in things like weightlifting or cycling or volleyball, or especially in the case of swimming. We saw Leah Thomas, and that story went absolutely viral, finally waking some people up into the degeneracy that's gone on. Not just this freak getting in the pool with actual real women, but also everything that went down in the locker room and all of the stuff we found out about Leah Thomas in the aftermath. But one place we really haven't seen this is in professional basketball, at least not yet. But a lot of people are using this comparison to say, hey, if this is fine, why don't we just have, former professional NBA players just pretend to be women and go and dominate the WNBA? It'd probably be more exciting at that point. And now Enes Kanter Freedom is speaking out and saying, hey, why don't I do just that? Enes Freedom on trans athletes. Should I put on a wig and dominate the WNBA? Enes Kanter Freedom took a shot at transgender athletes and wondered how fair it would be if he put on a wig, then joined the Women's National Basketball Association. On Friday, the former NBA player, who changed his last name to Freedom after becoming a naturalized U.S. citizen, posted his message on X, formerly known as Twitter. Men don't belong in women's spaces. Here, let's get this right here. Enes Kanter Freedom, men don't belong in women's spaces, restrooms, locker rooms, or sports. That is an opinion that's shared by the vast majority of people in this country and around the world. There's nothing revolutionary about that concept. There's nothing controversial about that concept other than from woke fucking degenerate freaks. Since I'm blackballed from the NBA, should I put on a wig, identify as a woman, and start dominating the WNBA? Is that when the outrage will begin? Is that fair to all the women who spent their whole life chasing their goals? Where are all the women's rights activists and feminists? And that last point is great. Where are these people who would be screeching and crying, or they would have, 4 or 5 years ago? They're afraid to be called transphobic. They're afraid to call it like it is and say a biological man can never be a biological woman. That just because you identify as transgender and you identify as a female does not make you one. That is a truth that is self-evident to nearly everyone, yet some people are afraid to say it. Now, in terms of Enes Freedom saying he's been blackballed by the NBA, I don't disagree that at the tail end of his career, he started calling out China and LeBron and all this stuff. That certainly affected him getting on a roster. Although the level at which he's saying he lost out on big deals and stuff like that, to be honest with you, Enes Kanter, towards the tail end of his career, his production really dropped off. There's really no other way to put it, especially what a liability he was on the defensive end. He was not producing good numbers. But it certainly was the case that once he started speaking out, once he started calling out the NBA's relationship with China and shitting on LeBron and Nike and all this stuff, his playing time went from very little, production went from very little to zero, and he was out of the NBA pretty quickly. So there's no doubt it had an effect. But this is real, though. What he is saying, people are actually doing that. There are people in this world who have failed as male athletes, and they said, hey, why don't I just, snap my fingers, identify as a woman, and go dominate in women's sports? We are seeing that across the globe. This is not fake. This is not pretend. It's actually happening. A biological man, Will Thomas, then changed his name to Leah Thomas. That person won an NCAA championship in women's swimming, took a trophy, an achievement away from real women who had been working at that all of their lives. It is sad and it is pathetic. And Enes Kanter taking a shot at the WNBA, he would, even at his age, he would dominate the WNBA if he went there. That's just the reality because men and women are different. What do you think about Enes Kanter Freedom slamming the WNBA and transgender athletes? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.